Hello and welcome to Rough Cut Film Review. I've got a review of the Will Ferrell film The Campaign, which has just left cinemas, so it's unfortunately a little bit late. So this is the newish film from Will Ferrell and that bloke from The Hangover, and it's a political comedy that's come out at a very good time. Obviously, we've just had the American elections, and there's been all sorts of silliness going on in American politics, which is absolutely ripe for parody. Unfortunately, this is not it. This film is directed by Jay Roach, who's also directed the Austin Powers films, as well as Meet the Fockers and Dinner for Schmucks. So he's an old hand at directing comedy, even though it's not necessarily at the highest quality. So, The Campaign. Will Ferrell is someone who's made a remarkable amount of money with his films. It seems like every film he's in, it seems to make a good deal of money without consistently, being of the highest quality. So if we look at his back catalogue, so he's made the absolutely fantastic Anchorman, the pretty good Old School, and then it goes all the way down to really poor stuff like, for example, Semi-Pro, which was just dire stuff. So the timing of this film really couldn't have been any better. It was due to come out with the American elections. There have been some truly strange things going on in American politics at the moment with the Tea Party. Both left and right, some very odd things going on. All that stuff about Jesus, don't know what's going on there. But, this film really drops the ball. It completely misses an open goal. And I really can't emphasise the fact that it just misses the mark so incredibly badly. It's just so misjudged. So the plot of the film, for what there is, Will Ferrell is the incumbent local politician in Carolina, and due to an incredibly unbelievable set of circumstances, he ends up running against a Republican candidate played by that bloke from The Hangover, the schlubby bearded one. Ferrell's character, he's called Cam for some reason. He sleeps around with lots of beautiful women and has a huge successful political machine behind him, which is supposed to be more aligned with the presidency than this Carolina thing. The bloke from The Hangover, he's supposed to be more sympathetic, but he plays his character in an incredibly strange way, and really you've got to see it to understand just how creepy that is. And like many of the characters in this, you simply do not believe that he would be a real person, and you get the feeling that they had a great time making this, and they probably thought it was really, really funny, and wow, look at him go. But there's something incredibly nasty and pernicious going on there, which I don't really fully understand, and I don't want to. So these two men are up against each other. The campaign hots up. Neither man wants to back down. There's an escalation of everything, really. They turn everything up to 11 very quickly. So, we get an escalation of violence and just general nastiness between the two of them. There's stuff like a baby gets punched, someone gets shot, and there's lots of sexual gags which are nasty. It's the sort of thing where a woman doesn't live up to the Hollywood ideal of being a woman, therefore there's clearly something incredibly wrong with her and she's ripe for parody. So strange stuff. So what was the most interesting thing about this film actually was watching it. I was completely cold. I wasn't swept up with it at all. I didn't laugh once. So I just sort of sat there watching it as a mechanical device, and I can sort of see it going, and you can see the scenes building. So you're going, you're adding A to B to C, and that should equal a laugh. That's sort of how it is. And then you see the scene where they're going to pull the gag, and that's going to be the laugh, and there's just sort of this huge smouldering crater, the foul stenching crater. It's just utterly humorless. There's just a void where the joke should be. But you can see them doing stuff that they think is going to be funny. That you can see them building jokes that just don't go anywhere and aren't funny, and then the punchline just falls flat. So the characters really bother me. They're supposed to be, even in fact, the ones which are supposed to be the most relatable are the most troublesome, because the people doing it have got some strange agenda, and they almost seem like they don't understand what people are like. And it's, we're back to that sort of Dinner for Schmucks thing, that maybe actually they're making fun of, the more relatable characters, or something really horrible is going on there, that they just appear like monsters, quite frankly. The film has actually got a very, very good supporting cast. noticeably John Lithgow's in there, and also Dan Aykroyd. But to be honest, I'm embarrassed to see them in it. It's like watching, for example, I mean, my grandpa didn't actually drink, but I could imagine if my grandpa had got really drunk and started doing the moonwalk or something in a pub, or something like that, where I'm actually, I kind of feel bad for him, because I'm embarrassed that other people are seeing him doing that, So we're seeing John Lithgow and Dan Aykroyd. I'm just thinking, oh no, don't, please don't. I know Aykroyd was in Pearl Harbor, but I still have this warm feeling toward him, and I don't want him to be embarrassed. I want him to just sit there quietly and keep his dignity, and hear half of everything that's said. So, these fantastic actors who I feel incredibly warmly to, and they're given these roles as industrialists who are, really evil, and they're hamming it up and everything like this, but it's just awful, and they get they're really where the plot comes in. And it's just awful, really. The point of the film really is this confused mess around America and China and a few other bits and pieces that they've thrown at it that they don't really understand. So it's really, they are just throwing as much as they possibly can into this horrible mess. And it's just depressing to see that Dan Aykroyd and John Lithgow, tied up in all of this stuff. So there we are. That's my review of the campaign. Obviously, I wasn't best pleased with it, but it's made a ton of money, so there we go. I'm cracking on still with my James Bond special, which it's hard work actually seeing this many James Bond films back to back. So I'm having to take little breaks from it, because it's very difficult to concentrate on yet another James Bond film. Last one I saw was Goldfinger, I think. So I'm getting there, but it's a lot slower going than I thought it might be. So anyway, thanks very much for listening, and more soon. Thank you.